Hello everyone, it's Bobo the Vulture, and it's Let's Play Gran Turismo 2. And, not sure if I have the timing of this down exactly right, but I believe it's 24 hours of Le Mans weekend. Le Mans is the most important endurance race in the world, the most important sports car event in the world. All these cars that say LM edition on them and stuff, that's what they're all aspiring to be. Cars that race at Le Mans. Like this thing, the Concept Car LM Edition. They probably would have wanted it to race at Le Mans. So, we, in honor of Le Mans, are going to go find a race. An endurance race. I'm not sure I have 2 hours, but I'll look at the Grand Valley 300 kilometer and the Apricot Hill. Let's see, 690, what are they looking for here? I'm gonna guess Japan GT 300E style cars. No. Super powerful road cars. Only the most powerful road cars. Why did I think that was what the Apricot Hill one was? Maybe it is too. I don't know, folks. I really don't. What is the Apricot Hill one? It's also 591. But requires a less good license. I'm gonna check the video of this one too. Yeah, these are all super hot road cars. Exit. Super hot road cars. That gives me an idea. Yes. A fiendish idea. 690 horsepower. I know a car that might just fit the bill perfectly. Mine's R34 Skyline GTR. Let's get in it. And let's go to Japantown and get some hard tires for it. These tires are going to be rock hard. They're going to be solid as a rock. Pretty sure I already checked this. Gonna just be extra careful. To check again. Yeah, there's nothing cool here. I mean, there's cool cars there. I don't mean to, denigrate the cause of their super cool cars. $11,000. Hey! Best of all, they cost the least. Alright. Now then. With those, if we go to Endurance Land, we should be able to enter the Grand Valley 300K. With this car, maybe win $500,000. I would like that. Would you guys at home like that? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. See if this car is up to snuff. Alright, gonna need to be a little bit more careful with it than that. But it's fast. So, as I recall in attempting to drive this car around in the past, it likes to get really slowed down before it turns anywhere. This is a good kind of car for an enduro like this. Nice all-wheel drive car. It's a little bit comfortable. It's comfortable to drive, you know. I mean, obviously, you still want a car that you can, you know, race quickly and everything, but 60 laps, my gosh. Boy, I've really got to get used to this car. That Venturi's just going to run away with it if I don't get used to it fast. I have a huge pack of cars directly behind me. That's supposed to be my high sign that I'm holding them up, and they could be keeping up with this Venturi. Possibly. I mean, this car handles interestingly. I mean, because obviously it's not spinning out everywhere, but it's not necessarily being the most stable thing in the world either. Now, can I catch up to this guy? I think I have a chance on this guy. I think I have a chance on this guy. No, that wasn't a bad execution of that turn. So this guy is going to be my one opponent in this. And my big question ends up being, is he riding on soft tires? So you're going to have to come in before I do. 'Cause that's all part of the excitement of endurance racing, folks. It's less true here, but in a track like Le Mans, where a lap will take a couple minutes. I mean, this one I guess literally takes a couple of minutes. My lap times are in the 2-minute range. But what I mean to say is, what I mean is that a lap takes several minutes because they're going like a lap around there is a significantly longer chunk of distance than your average racetrack. Alright, so I can sort of keep pace with this guy. I can keep him the horizon. I can keep him on my horizon. I basically just got to find out if he's going to make more stops than I am. I just have to hope that he comes in for tires soon. Yeah, but that's apparently something I've been hearing ahead of this particular Le Mans event. That some of the top teams will say like they'll be able to go, you know, 14 laps on a tank of fuel, or 15. Some of them might be able to stretch it out to 15. But with fuel, it's a lot more precise. It's just that's how much your car burns up. If you don't have any left, you run out of fuel. The car stops. With the tires in here, it's sort of like, oh, can I fudge it and just drive around on beat-up tires for slightly longer and be okay? Now let's see. Last time I was what? About 3.8 behind him. 3.2. It's not great, but it is at least keeping rough approximate pace with him. And I'm not going to say that, oh, I'm catching him at a rate of however many seconds, because obviously I lost all this pace to be back here to begin with. We started much closer to one another at the beginning of this race, so he must have had that somewhere. Let's just attempt to drive this a more conservative way and see if that pays us any dividends. Alright, that was a poor way through that turn. I think part of the problem I end up having is that this car is very willing to just sort of like drift along through turns. Which may not be the fastest way through any given turn. But I would say, he seems to be getting a great exit on a lot of these turns. But I'd say I'm catching up. Oh, so much closer this time around. Oh, less than a second. Yeah! This is good. I'm now in range to sort of challenge him a little bit. This is not a great part of the track to do it. Ugh. Because I'll go off like that. He's going off a track periodically here too. I get him into entry here. I have the inside line. Leave me room. Alright, I'm going to leave you room on the inside here, but... Oh! No, dive! Yeah! First place! No, that was not clean at all. It was Gran Turismo clean. And now, can I build a gap to this guy? Yeah, he pretty well would catch up to me there. I was trying too much of a slightly different way of carrying speed through corners. Now I can watch him behind me on the straights, see whether he ever pulls off. He's still sort of with me. Wow, that guy in the Venturi, he's a great rival. And you just tap the brakes a little bit along those hills and stabilize the car a little bit. At the expense of slowing down a good bit, it would seem. Yep, too fast going in there. This, I believe, is probably that Venturi is the best part of the lap for him. He's going to catch up there big time. In those little low to medium speed corners. But okay. As long as I don't mess up anywhere. Which is sort of a big ask for old Bobo, Gran Turismo driver. I think I got this race. And if I got this race, then I got a big prize and a super cool car. And that's what Bobo likes. Yeah, basically, I really would like for him to be on worse tires than me. So if he's also on the hard compounds, or he can go as long on his tires as I can, then I'm going to be in real danger. Oh, I'm in real danger already. Overcooked it. That guy smells blood back there. Of course, I'm also driving my mirrors, which is not a great way to go around a racetrack. I'm actually realizing, with this car, if you're on full throttle all the time, especially trying to accelerate through turns, you're gonna understeer. And so, I may have to remember the technique Bean was attempting to teach me in Dragster. You just tap it. Gotta use a light touch on that throttle. Jeez, are these tires going to be chewed up in 10 laps? We're going to be doing like 6 stops here? Yep, alright. Let's just attempt to be careful and deliberate here. Tires aren't the freshest now. They're hot. Don't know that they're shot, but they're hot. And, that could be problems for us. Question is, do we want to replace them every 10 laps? Do we want to replace them every 15 laps? And save ourselves a pit stop. $15, $30, $45, $60. Do a 4-stopper or a 5-stopper? No, 4-stopper or a 6-stopper. Oh my goodness. If we're doing the math evenly, I should have thought about math for 60 laps in my head before we got here. Of course, I didn't know that this would be a 60-lap event. He's catching up. He's pulling in. Though my tires are cooked, I probably should have as well. Yeah, my tires are beat red. Am I going to be able to pull off a hot enough lap to be able to still get out after getting tires and so on? But yeah, I definitely, yeah, look at those front tires. They're beat red. They're embarrassed to be on my car. I think I'm losing too much time here. I think the Venturi is going to get in front of me here. Ah, jeez, this is a classic pit strategy error. You try and stay out longer than your opponent and you end up losing time in it. Because you spend too much time with a used up car. Alright, come on. Let's go, let's go. Let's at least try to make this work. Limited speed. Come on. Let's make the change. Let's make the trade-off. Let's get the tires. Oh, he's gonna get around me easy here. Oh, there he goes. Gonna have this pass to make all over again. Gonna have to make this all up on the track, boy. Oh man, this is tense. All right. So unfortunately, he's now running his own pace in first there. He doesn't have to worry about me doing anything. Alright, I gotta take it easy here though. I don't want to destroy these tires right away. Because I'm just trying to turn the car regularly, and it's going into a drift, sort of, all on its own. And it's not what I'm intending. Alright. So, after the first round of pit stops, we're still in touch with one another. If I'd done tuning to the car to lower the gear ratios or something, I'd have a little bit more here, but, am I scaring him? Did he just go off? Just a little bit? I feel like you can't go off just a little there. You go off a little bit, you get caught, and you just go crazy back there. He definitely went off there, but I sort of kicked the tail out too. He's driving erratically. He's driving erratically. Look at his delicate touch. The steering wheel and throttle. He knows how to turn that car on. There's an ignition switch. Actually, these are sort of regular E-cars. It might have key rather than just the switch. Catching up on you again. What are you doing back there? What do you think you have? You don't have anything. Look at me. I can pull away. I can do anything. Yeah, he's going off track there. Jeez. I don't know if you guys hear him right behind me. I've noticed that, I feel like some of the videos I've listened, if I'm listening on headphones, I'm like trying to push down the brake button extra hard. Yes, these buttons are pressure sensitive on the PS3, but they weren't on the PS1. Playing a PS3 game on the PS1 does not make the buttons pressure, the like PS1 sort of emulation go like, oh, you're pushing extra hard, that must mean you want to stop more. That is what the software inside the PS3 sounds like. It also sounds like, oh man, I've been operating for at least a good 25 minutes. I am super hot. I'm turning on the fan now. All over one another here. This is a crazy race. Oh, you got it wrong back there. You messed up the exit. Speaking of messing up an exit, let me guess, you took that turn perfectly. Ah! You guys. I was not expecting this kind of tense rivalry. Honestly, under ordinary circumstances, if I saw that this guy was going to be this close to me the whole race, jeez, I might switch it off because I don't feel like investing, you know, an hour, maybe 2 hours of my time in this on the very realistic chance that I might not win it. I think this is the issue. I never build a gap on him. I don't feel as though I'm building any gap on this guy. Did he go off again? No. Seems to be behind me pretty well. Okay, so boy, ordinarily these endurance races I would feel like I would eventually reach a point where I could relax a little bit and just sort of drive around, maybe try and engage all you fine folks at home in conversation. That's not happening in this one. Not at all. Huh. So, yeah, I hope you guys have read some good books lately, or maybe seen some fun things. Had interesting life experiences that were quality. Yeah. That seemed like a good way through those turns, and yet I still feel like that Venturi is right on me. Maybe not. Maybe if I'm careful, I can build up a gap, and I can do this okay. No, there are places that I feel like he recoups. Alright, let's take an outside line here. I attempt to, and then it doesn't work. Yeah, I find the earlier I brake, the faster I actually end up being. I should try and remember this. Remember, Bobo? Remember that the car actually likes to be able to accelerate sometimes out of places. Yeah. Okay. So, right now I'm building a mild gap. But, as my tires get poorer, I feel like the computer probably does a better job of managing that state of affairs than I do. Oh, man. You know, guys, if you can get excited by watching a map with a bunch of dots on it, this is probably the video for you. You just look down there in that bottom left corner. It is non-stop excitement. That dot is so close to me. That green dot is right behind my red dot. It's hunting it down. My little red dot keeps trying to go away from it. It's a desperate race between dots. There we go. That was in the way around there, as I should know. As I ought to know by now. Huh. I wonder if, just through blind luck or enough repetition of this to get things down well, if I'll ever end up going through this with an actually pretty good lap in terms of racing line. It ain't gonna be this one. Racing line, good brake points, all that kind of stuff. Probably not. I wonder whether or not I'll have a fastest lap, but I wonder whether or not I'll have one lap where everything was pretty darn good, and that stands out. I wonder if given enough time and trained, like video watchers in the world, whether I would eventually have someone determine what my fastest lap is, see which lap is the fastest out of all of them, do a timestamp right before that lap starts. You can watch the fastest lap as it happens. Future reference. For anybody who really wants to see Bobo put on a terrible, terrible clinic. So I'm building a gap. The question is the guy in the Venturi also going to... Is he on a 5-stop strategy? Stop on 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Is he on that strategy? He's stopping a lap early. Is this the end for lovable Venturi? Have I done it? Can I make it? And my tires are starting to go, but I could probably have stayed out another lap. At this rate, maybe I won't bother, though. Just gotta remember, just keep a good pace. Don't need to keep the most strenuous pace in the world. Yeah, those front tires are starting to look kind of bad. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this lap. Pit this time around. I am taking kind of a cheating way into the pit lane, but I'm okay with it. I've made my peace. Alright, let's change these tires, guys. Get this pit work done, boys. Nice. Thanks, guys. There we go. And yes, I am out ahead of the man in the Venturi. Or woman. Well, I guess we actually all know it's a CPU in there. But out ahead of that CPU. And I am on a lap fresher tires. So, again, as I start making a sloppy set of overcorrections in a turn, I have to remind myself, you've done good, Bobo. You have managed to steer yourself clear of the other race car driver guy. Now you just need to continue to drive a steady pace and build that gap slowly. But don't get complacent. Don't get lazy. Don't get sloppy. Don't mess up. Do good, Bobo. Eat your vegetables. Take out the trash. Clean your laundry. Get a haircut. Do good things. Maintain a proper following distance behind other cars. Leave the toilet seat down. I don't know what I'm on about, folks, either. I do pretty much all those things. Yeah. Other than run a proper race base and not get, I don't know if lazy is the right word, but, certainly in these races you can get, you can lose concentration. Which I guess you could consider that a form of laziness? But yes, definitely possible to lose your concentration, which is not good. But yes, you can see now the gap is... I kind of wish it would tell me what the gap was. That is one of the advantages of later Gran Turismo games. I don't remember if it's 3 or 4 that does that. That gives you the innovation. In this game, if you're behind, they'll tell you how far behind you are. But when you're in front, it won't tell you how far ahead you are, which you get in later Gran Turismo games. Again, not remembering off the top of my head whether or not they introduced that in 3 or in 4. I've played Gran Turismo's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Prologue, and 5. I know that they are up to 6 now. Considering right now I'm playing a bunch of Gran Turismo 2, and if I play any more Gran Turismo, it will be for an LP, and, as much as I wasn't really a big fan of 3, if I played another Gran Turismo game, logic would seem to dictate that 3 would be the next one I'd do. I need to double check to make sure I've got a copy of 4. As I used to play on my my best friend's copy. And I've definitely done a lot of shopping for PS2 games in the past few months, well, a year really. As PS3 games have basically fallen through the floor because GameStops want to get rid of them. What is this fine machine I'm about to pass? Hopefully, without incident on the straightaway. Was that a Turbo Esprit? Oh, that Turbo Esprit is going in for tires. And it might not have been a Turbo Esprit. It might have been another Venturi. I have a hard time. Ah, no! Didn't get myself turned around. No! Don't ruin this, Bobo. Don't mess it up. You've already put a lot of time into this race. You do not want to have to turn back now. You do not want to have to give it up, give it up, give it up. No! What did I just say? Apparently, once I start getting myself pep talks about paying attention, I get distracted by giving myself pep talks about paying attention. Bobo, don't lose this. Alright, I'm gonna stop giving myself pep talks about paying attention, because clearly that just I get inside my own head, man. Get myself freaked out. You don't want to be freaked out, man. So better to talk about something nice and calm, like the fact that it seems like the cheapest console to be picking up games for right now is the PS2. You basically, there's a point in the market for games, it seems like, where whatever games that you find are going to be it's like basically games. They get mass-produced, and when they're new, they're the newest thing, and so they charge, you know, big money for them, you know, because then, hey, I respect that. Obviously, you want to make back a return on your investment of time and effort and work and all that stuff. But on the used game market, of course, they're still pretty expensive from the word go. Because, hey, the game just came out. There's not that many used copies, really. And prices start to go down and down a little bit as more and more people get done, you know, with their... people who wanted to play it once and now are done with it, they're turning in their copies. And it goes on a little longer as you get another nice drop-off whenever the next generation system comes out. People who are getting rid of their entire library of games for one console. You get some from there. And also at that point, when the thing is a generation old, when your games are a generation old, so like it's been for a long time with the PS2s. It had been for a long time with the PS2s with the PS3 out, but now PS4 is out. They can't be sitting there trying to sell 3 different generations of the same game console. They don't have the kind of shelf space to be trying to do all that. And I think generally speaking, they really only like to have, you know, I mean, one, you know, sort of old, oh geez, I should have, there we go. That was actually not a bad way around. They don't want, like, old console out for a long time. Obviously, whichever one was the most popular and they sold the most copies of stuff for it, that's the one that they're going to end up keeping for a long time. And I guess that's how, in the end, you really determine which console was the winner of any given console war. Because, like, it's been a long time since I saw any... I mean, they're not all obviously on the exact same cycle anymore, but like Xbox One and PS4 came out at the same time. Wii U came out early, but, you know, I guess it's not exactly the same sort of a thing now. The same way that the Wii wasn't. For a long time, Nintendo's kind of always done its own thing. I mean, the closest they had to a system that was the same as what everybody else was doing was the GameCube. And that was I don't know sales numbers or anything, but that was arguably their biggest flop. Because, I feel like it's the least fondly remembered of the Nintendo consoles. And I know everybody has their own memories of them, but like, I feel like I hear more people talking fondly about their 8-bit Nintendo, or the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the Super Nintendo, or the N64, or the Wii. But there's like a little gap there. I feel like I don't hear that many people talking about like, oh. And I mean, there were obviously great games that were released for the GameCube. I have a GameCube. I don't have any of those games because they charge an arm and a leg for it. The GameCube was not, I mean, if you're somebody who just likes to go cheap retro gaming, the GameCube, it was cheap to pick up the console. But trying to buy games for it, yeah, there'll be cheap games out there. There's going to be cheap games for almost any console after a little while. But to get the good games for that, I mean, like, I remember trying to find a copy of Zelda Wind Waker. And I mean, seriously, it would almost be cheaper to buy a Wii U with Zelda Wind Waker now than it would Zelda Wind Waker HD than it would be to try and find an original GameCube copy of Zelda Wind Waker for sale. It's just that ridiculous. Am I turning in bad lap times? I feel like I'm no longer... Oh. Too late. Way too late. Is it him? I can't tell. I think that's him back there. Well, yeah, like I remember feeling pressure to buy cheap GameCube games, like one or two of them, just so that I had enough of a GameCube library to be able to justify the purchase of the GameCube. Because you get them even for cheaper now. Go to a yard sale or a thrift store or something like that. But I got my GameCube for like 25 bucks. Like, I don't know, 3 years ago? And I think honestly, the price on The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, I think, bottomed out somewhere still above 20 bucks a copy. Which, I know. I sound like a horrible person for saying, like, what? I wanted to be able to buy this game for $2. I didn't even know if it ever had to be $2, but, like, I feel like a lot of games get released as like a greatest hits or classics collection or something like that. And the new copy, oh thank God he pitted. So he went extra long in his first stint with his tires, but after that he's having to pit consistently. He's going one less lap per tire stint than we are. So thank heavens. Again, Bobo, keep your wits about you. But I think we've got this one licked. As we approach the halfway point, I think we've got this one settled. Done and dusted. So much pressure and effort, though. And dear goodness, I hope that this all saves, you know? Something like this will happen and I'll be like, oh gosh, the recorder save it? Because I'm looking at the total time that we're running right now, and we are very near the hour mark. I may want to, at my next pit stop, pause the game and split this video. Hopefully you won't find that too suspenseful if I do, because as we move on, I'm becoming increasingly more convinced that that would be a good idea. Not because Let's Play Gran Turismo 2 needs more episodes, but I've honestly, now that I've gotten it pretty well set up, I've honestly managed to do pretty well with the Hopog HD PVR2 that I picked up recently, but I definitely know other Let's Players, namely a watcher and subscriber, subscribee, and I would say Let's Playing friend, Zerfall. I know he's got one of those devices, and has had it shut down on him. He's lost footage because it, like, overheats and shuts off. I've not had that problem. Certainly I've had problems with my PlayStation trying to overheat before. It's never overheated to the extent that, like, it stopped. But, like, it'll turn on, like, crazy loud fans, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, are you okay, little PlayStation? Don't die. Yeah, and okay, these tires are pretty chewed up, so I'm going to want to try and stop here. And again, as I stop, I will, as I stop, I'm going to pause the video here so we achieve lap 30. And, alright, our pit work is in progress. And I see that there's a green blip right behind me. Is it a lap car? Is it that friggin' guy in the... I can't believe I've lost the name of the car make. Venturi. It's not a car make that comes up very often. I'm just going to tell all you guys right now. Certainly not around these parts. But if that's him, I apparently don't have this as in the bag as I thought, and I already didn't think I had it exactly in the bag. So you'll want to come back, folks. But until then, this is Bobo the Vulture. This is Let's Play Gran Turismo. Happy Le Mans watching. If you can find it, do so. If you can't find it on television, I know that a lot of places you won't be able to find the broadcast on television, certainly not the full 24 hours. You can probably go online and find an online stream. Maybe a video, definitely of Le Mans Radio. And I would recommend it if you're interested in this sort of thing. It is fascinating stuff. What I like to do is, it's much like an LP actually. I like to find a broadcast of it and put it on and set it up, get it going, and get on some other task and have it going on. I can be sort of paying attention to it while I'm doing something else. Summer cleaning, or I'm at the office, on a weekend, which I sometimes am. Anyways, though, folks, this is Bobo the Vulture. This is Let's Play Gran Turismo 2. When we come back next time, going to try and finish this Enduro. Bye-bye now.